Right here is the Hyundai i30 Sedan N. And the N stands for a little bit naughty. Because this car takes the standard i30 sedan platform and makes it bloody naughty. It adds pops and bangs, it adds a performance exhaust, it adds some power, it adds some grip, it adds all sorts of things, including this N performance upgrade to the look. Now, today, I'm gonna show you everything that you could possibly want to know, hopefully, about the i30 Sedan N. And hopefully, by the end of this, you're gonna know whether or not you should buy one. Spoiler alert, if you're interested, I think you'll love it. I have lived with this car for a month now. I am actually very sad to have to give it back soon. But I've lived with this car for about a month now, and I can tell you it is fantastic right off the bat. I'm not gonna make you wait to the end of the video to know my conclusion, okay? This car is brilliant. It is fun to drive slow. It is fun to drive fast. On windy roads, it's fantastic. On normal roads, it's decent. If I'm driving through the suburbs to get home, I'll find myself actively taking a more indirect route home rather than the highway. I'm taking the suburbs so that I can fang it in 50 around the streets, around the roundabouts, all those sorts of things, because it handles it so nicely. And that exhaust helps too. So right off the bat, let's talk about what makes the N package better than the stock car. Starting at the front, this is where the most dramatic changes can be seen with the new i30 Sedan N. Now, it is just a facelift, but there are some performance upgrades as well. But the majority of the changes are going to be seen here. We have a new black badge, which in my opinion looks really, really nice and ties together the black trim around the car really, really well. And especially when paired with these beautiful black wheels. They look really, really good. Now, I think personally, this new front end is a big upgrade in the design department. However, I could see why someone might prefer the last generation. I do think with this, it is just going to be personal preference, but this aggressive splitter, the aggressive grille, and the heavy use of black trim makes this car look performance focused. I especially like the red trim accents that take us all around the entire car, saying, hey, this car is something special. It's not just another i30. That's basically what this car is. It's taking the i30, which is already an excellent daily driver, and making it performance focused for those who want that. Down the side of the car, we have a black mirror taking in that black trim. We have the black side skirt going all the way down the side, bringing the red line flow all the way to the back. And again, we have these stunning wheels. I am a big fan of these wheels. I think they look so good. As you can see, these wheels are a really similar color to the trim here, and obviously the mirrors and these sorts of black spots all over the car. And because of that likeness, I feel like it ties together the whole package really well. Because it's not just black wheels, it's a satin black, which really, really closely emulates that trim. Big fan. Around the windows here, we have more black. I do really like the heavy use of black on this car. I think it really works in making it look a little more performance focused. I think they could have done a black roof, which could have been an interesting look. I don't know if that would have looked better or not, but I think it could have been a good look. You can spec this for an extra $2,000 with a sunroof, which would in turn, I suppose, make half of the roof black at least. Towards the back here, we have the wing, which is, to be honest, not my cup of tea. I don't love the shape of this, but it does need something there. We have the red trim, like I said, carrying us all the way back, and a more aggressive rear bumper. At the back here, we have more black badging in this gorgeous, shiny, it's almost like a satin black. We have an N-line logo. We have the black wing, as well as the full light bar here. We also have a gorgeous rear bumper that is topped off with this red trim showing the performance. We have some little splitter canard sort of vibes here, and two big chunky exhausts, which sound fantastic. The boot is also really big for what the car is. In fact, I think I could actually get in here really easily. There is plenty of space for me in here. That is how big this boot is. I'm not a small person. I'm a big person, but I can fit in there perfectly. You may have also noticed, if you get in here, as you can see in here, we also have a stability bar, which adds to the performance. It looks like a sporty car, you know, there's no denying it looks like a sporty car. It might fly under the radar a little bit, but not if you get it in this blue. And if you get an i30 Sedan N, you gotta get it in this blue, because this blue is only available on the N line cars. So well, not the N line, only available on the N performance cars. This is the N blue, and it just looks great. It looks especially good on the hatchback, but I think it looks really good on this too. I think overall the styling of this car looks really good. This is the facelift, so the 2024 Plus, I believe, facelift, which makes a new front end and new rear end, as well as some other subtle changes. The wheels are different and the car handles a little better. Now, I'm going to tell you one of my favorite parts about this car and who I think this car is for. The segment that this car works really well for is parents. Now, you might think that sounds insane. This car is small, it's not an SUV, how is this good for parents? But let me specify, I mean car enthusiast parents, because this car is fun to drive and can comfortably fit baby seats rear facing in the back. I've had my son rear facing in the back of this car multiple times, and I never have a problem with the space in the front. Now, I'm not super tall, but I'm big. I'm decently big. And this car is comfortable even with kids in the back, which is really impressive for a car this sporty feeling. And then in the boot, I have plenty of room for the nappy bag, the shopping, the pram. Like, I can fit everything in this car that I would need on a daily basis. And that is impressive out of a car that I can take on a windy road and can't stop smiling while driving. Now, part of the reason why I smile so much when I drive this car is how good the dual clutch is. The dual clutch transmission on this car is fantastic. So, when you buy a Hyundai i30 Sedan N, you have two options: the manual transmission or the automatic dual clutch transmission. I would say this is one of those few times where a car enthusiast is gonna say, hey, I think you go with the dual clutch in this. I haven't driven the manual, and I'm sure it's a heck of a lot of fun, but the 8-speed dual clutch in this is fantastic. It holds gears, which a lot of cars like this don't do. I've had cars in the past where if I stay in gear, even in the manual mode, if I stay in gear for too long, it changes for me. I hate that. If I'm staying in gear, there's a reason. This car will not do that. Now also, I can downshift in this car to a really high RPM, and it's perfectly happy to do that, which I really like. It makes it so much fun on windy roads. Next, the gear shifters are just so satisfying and snappy. I found that I drove this car in M mode, manual mode, pretty much the whole time that I was driving it. Now you might say, well, if you're driving in a manual mode, why would you get the automatic over the manual? And it's because the manual mode in this is just so fun. It's zippy, it's fast. If I'm cruising along, I can downshift at any moment into second and just know that I'm gonna get the gorgeous sound out of that engine. I'm gonna get a bit of power under my foot, and I'm just gonna feel like I can do anything that I need to do. And because the gear shifting in automatic is so fun, why would you need the manual? The only thing that you're missing out on is a clutch. And I don't think you need it in this car, especially because of how practical it is. All that stuff I mentioned earlier about the practicality of fitting people in the back, of filling up the boot space, that means that this car is gonna work really well as a daily. I think for the money, this may be the perfect daily. I think for the money, you may struggle to find anything that rivals it. There are options out there, but I think this is fantastic for it. And that's why I say, if you are interested in this car, I do not think it will disappoint. As a daily, you can fit everything you need. It makes all your driving fun. If you throw this in manual mode, it's fun. There is one glaring problem though with this being a daily. And it's not a deal breaker for me because this car is fun enough to drive that I don't really mind. But this car, as a 2024 model, does not have adaptive cruise control. It has normal cruise control and it has lane keep assist, even the one where it steers for you, not just tells you, but it does not have adaptive cruise control, which for some people will be a deal breaker. And I understand that. If you're used to adaptive cruise control on your daily commute and you're commuting in traffic every day, it will probably be a deal breaker. If you aren't used to adaptive cruise, I think this car is fantastic. I took this car on a 500-kilometer road trip the other day, and I didn't find myself missing adaptive cruise. It was just fine. I put my car in normal cruise, and I just passed people. It was like the olden days before adaptive cruise existed. But if you don't care about adaptive cruise, you should definitely take this. Now, this car is a great daily because of that ability to make drives fun. It also can make your fun car a bit tame when you need it, which I think is a good feature on a raucous sports car like this. A car that's going to be popping and banging and being loud and obnoxious all the time needs a way to balance that out, and this car does. So what we have on the steering wheel is two bright blue buttons, same color as the outer paint. They both say N on them. The one on the left, which is the size of where you would put your thumb, it's the positioning of your thumb. If you press your left thumb, you get to cycle between eco, normal, and sport. That's pretty standard. The eco mode is what you'd expect. It's good when you are running low on fuel. The normal mode is where you can drive it on your day-to-day and it's pretty chill. And the sport mode is fast, it's fun, it's zippy, it's a good time, and the exhaust note opens up and it sounds great. But what if you want pops and bangs? That's where the button on the right thumb comes in. If you press the button on the right thumb, you cycle between N mode and your N custom mode. The N mode is essentially everything to the max, except doesn't completely turn traction control off. It turns it off a little bit, but not completely. So N mode, you get pops and bangs, you get loud exhaust, you get sticky suspension, you get everything you want out of a performance car. The reason why I say it's so good to have it on the thumbs is if I'm in my daily commute and I get a bit where I can zip around through the suburbs, I can throw it in N mode by literally just pressing one button, and the button is where my thumb already sits. I'm not having to stretch, I'm not having to find it, not having to have twist the knot or anything. I just press the button. That is great. And then when I am like, okay, I want to be a little more tame, I don't want to be as obnoxious, I press the left button. Again, my thumb is already there. I don't have to move. I cannot reiterate enough how much I like that I can switch between drive modes so fluidly and so easily on the fly. I think that is what helps make the manual on this a little bit more fun too, because I still feel like I have great control over the car. And that means that I can be less obnoxious when I want to and more obnoxious when I want to as well. Now, when I say obnoxious, I don't mean in a bad way. I just mean in like a car guy way. It's still good. It's great. I love it. I drive it in N mode most of the time, but I do find myself swapping between. And the thing about the drive modes in this car is if I have it in eco mode or normal mode, it's chill, it's tame, it's pretty quiet. But if I put my foot down, it just completely opens up again. So it's not like you lose everything when you're in those modes. It just means that you need to tell the car, hey, I actually want this. But when you tell the car you want this, it's there for you. It's ready. And that's what this car is. It is ready for whatever you want to throw at it. Now, it maybe has a little less power than its rivals, but I would say you don't need more power than this car has. I've never wanted for more power in this car. Now, it's not throw you in the back of the seat and like wind you fast, but it is like when you change, you get thrown back a little bit. It is pretty quick, especially when you put it in N grin shift mode, which is the NGS button on the steering wheel. It's a bright red button that you may mistake for the start stop button. The turn on button when you first get into it, but it's not that at all. If you press that button, it engages a 20-second timer, and for that 20 seconds, you are driving as high RPM as possible and aggressively as possible. It's basically your pass me button. It's really fun, but it's ludicrous. Like, it's just ridiculous. You feel crazy. And every time you release the throttle even a little bit in that mode, you're getting pops and bangs like nothing. It is insane. So this car is fantastic for most people. Now, one person that I think this would be a really good car for is if you want a cheap, like a decently reliable, fun car, and your dream car is something like, you know, a BMW M car, an Audi RS car, something like that, where it's like you just want to drive a big sporty sedan. This is a good stepping stone for you. This will be really fun for you, and maybe it'll scratch that itch entirely for you. I'm obviously going to take you into the car and show you everything in more detail, but in the back seat, I have a car seat, I have a baby seat, I have plenty of space back there. The passenger has plenty of space. In the front seat, we have cup holders. We have a large cup holder and a small cup holder insert, which means you can take that insert out and have two large ones, or you can have one small, one large. I like that. We have a traditional pull-up handbrake. It's not electronic. I like that. Manual handbrake. We have lots of black, lots of leather. We have blue stitching down the seats as well as blue piping, which I really like that touch. And we have an N logo on the seats as well as on the gear shifter. I like those touches too. Glossy black plastic around the top. We do have a circle on the dash, which is a little strange. I don't really understand why they put that design there. That is there because there is a feature on earlier, like lower models that they take out on this. I think it's the drive mode selector is there on normal models, but they put it on the steering wheel, obviously, for this. The screen is good, you get decent support, and you also get a thing called Blue Link. Blue Link is an app that lets me start and stop the car from my phone. It lets me get notifications when the car gets unlocked or locked. I can unlock it or lock it from my phone. I can turn the climate control on. I can set the climate control. I can have a calendar app on there so that my car tells me what I have to do today. All sorts of things. It's a cool app. I really like it. And I love that I can have the car nice and warm and get rid of all the frost off the windscreen before I set off. And also the engine nice and warm so that but when I set off, I can hoon like an idiot as soon as I start. I love that. Now back to the infotainment. We have Apple CarPlay, obviously, and
and isn't soup really just
no
sauce?
problems there.
Can we dispel the whole? Isn't it really is
I
sauce,
have
right?
a Hyundai Santa Fe, it's 2022, and on that car, it's wireless. So I don't really understand why on this it's plug-in, but that's just how it is, I guess. They also have wireless charging. They have a decent-sized glove box, a decent-sized center console. The paddles are metal and very satisfying.
Especially when you're working hard.
And the infotainment, again, we do have a standalone navigation,
but also
which is good.
when a
Some
waiter
cars are
says,
getting rid of
so
standalone
tonight chef is preparing, I'm like,
just
I don't
rely on
know
Apple
chef,
CarPlay,
so stop referring
but
to,
99%
and
of the
chef
time
is
it's
doing
totally
a
fine.
great.
But if I forget my phone or my phone's dead or something like that, I do like having the option of using an old GPS. And I did use it the first time I drove this car because I didn't have the cable, and it was good. It was a decent GPS. You know, some GPSs are terrible. This was good. You can customize your N modes in there, and there is an N screen on the infotainment.
What do you guys, I know what my pet peeves are when I walk into a restaurant. They're not, if I own a restaurant, well, I do it. If anybody has a free beaver says, welcome in, you're gone.
The different drive modes, as on most cars, have different screens. I love the animation when you switch from any drive mode into N mode. You get a little animation on the screen. It is nice. It's cool. It makes it more of an occasion. I like that a lot. The reversing camera isn't great, I'll be completely honest. It's pretty low res, it's pretty small, not a massive fan of that. On American models, I know this isn't super important, but on some American models, they have cameras for your blind spot that show up in the dash. I really wish Australian models would have that, but they don't. That's okay. But yeah, overall, it is a really nice experience to drive this car. It is lovely to sit in. It is comfortable. The suspension is stiff enough to be fun, but not so stiff that after I drove 10 hours the other day. After driving 10 hours, I didn't feel sore. I didn't feel bad. I felt good, honestly. The seats are really comfy. They're not too squishy, not too firm. It's great. You getting that sound out of a car that can hold your whole family around, well, as long as you don't have more than 3 kids, and has plenty of room in the trunk for all of your grocery getting needs. Tell me more about why you wouldn't have this as your daily. Let me know what you would have instead, because I don't think that for the price, there is many better options out there. So, thank you so much for watching. I hope I helped you decide whether or not you want to buy this car.